Oliver Fade takes it there, contains strong language, intense violence, and is not intended for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Hi, and welcome. This is Oliver Fade, and I'm bringing you the podcast that speaks the truth about the streets.
What you doing on that turf? What you doing on that turf?
Hey, welcome back to another episode, which is actually episode 8. And today's guest is my brother from the same mother, Alonzo. What's up, Alonzo? How you doing?
What's going on, Oli? I'm good.
How was the heat wave? Were you here for that?
Yeah, I didn't feel it too much. I mean...
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you were in San Francisco. You just got back, so...
No, I was here. It was hot, but...
You're not complaining like everybody else.
No. I know, like, on the news, they were saying, oh, there's a heat wave. I was like, dude, just drink water, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure. It was hot as hell.
Sit in the shade.
Right. 10 degrees cooler.
Yeah,
at least. But yeah, I wanted to talk to you about your experience, even though I'm super familiar since we're brothers. But I'm gonna, ask you stuff for the listeners' sake so they could get to know you. And I'm gonna start with the beginning, the very beginning, where you're from, where you were born. Where are you from, Alonzo?
Mexico, the motherland. I was born in Atotonilco Alto, Jalisco.
Same place I was born.
And then we lived in the little town of San Francisco, a.k.a. San Pancho, a.k.a. I just heard they call it Little Dubai.
Oh, yeah, you just heard they call it Little Dubai?
Yeah, this guy I was working with, he goes like, oh, ¿has ido a Little Dubai? I was like, where? He's like, ¿Sí lo conoces?
What?
And I was like, he's like, es San Pancho, they call it Little Dubai. I was like, why? He's like, la raza dice que porque está bien chingón.
Damn, that's a new one. I haven't heard that.
Yeah, so, born in Mexico, and then born in 83, and then we came up to the U.S. In 1989, November.
89 November.
Yeah.
So you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They made me wear a little suit to get on the plane when we flew from Guadalajara to Tijuana.
Oh, yeah? You had a suit on?
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to wear this suit. They're like, put it on. You're going to go see your dad.
Business.
And then, my mom had us pimped out.
Yeah, all
when
the
we were
time.
little kids, custom clothes.
Hell yeah.
Button shirts, shiny shoes.
Matching.
Yeah,
the kids match.
We look like little mafia babies.
Yeah, I got to get those pictures. I've seen some pictures. They're cool. And my dad said we would just, play in the dirt or mud or whatever in a suit. Like that.
Well, that's how they dressed us, It was dress shirts, little dress pants, and like every day of the week.
Hell yeah.
My mom pimped us out.
So, from Mexico, we moved to the U.S. To the block, not knowing about the gangster shit. My dad wasn't really like, oh, I want to move you guys here. It was just like a place that a lot of Mexican people were moving to. Is that, or do you know anything why he moved or we moved there?
He was already living in the apartment.
The one we moved to?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he was there with, he had roommates.
Oh, shit.
And it was, just think about it. Single guys, they get roommates and then they just go to work, Yeah. And then they send they send money back home. And when my dad decided to bring us over, the guys that were there, they moved out. So my dad can keep the apartment.
Okay.
And it just, my dad just happened to get a place on 50th and Oakley, for whatever reason.
Yeah. So once we were, grown up to a certain degree, you had to learn English and all that stuff.
Yeah, I did.
So, you actually, like, from what I remember, you started doing graffiti. And I wanted to talk about that mostly because you are, I don't know, but
I'm an artist. I'll be an artist forever.
You're an artist. So when did you get into graffiti?
I was pretty young. I started drawing bubble letters, not because I wanted to do graffiti, but our dad used to write letters to my mom.
Uh-huh.
Like, you write a letter to your
love
girlfriend.
letter?
I wouldn't say a love letter, but just, I guess, I miss you. And
Yeah. They didn't have Facebook.
no, this is before that. This was like real mail, not even email.
Yeah, snail mail.
So then my dad would write letters to my mom, and the whole letter would be in bubble letters.
Oh, damn.
So he didn't just write it; he was bubble letters, the whole thing.
I'm learning a bunch of stuff. I didn't know he had roommates there. But okay.
So then my dad used to draw our names, Olivet, and then he'll do the O, and then he did bubble letters. So since I was a kid, I used to see my dad sketching, and then I started sketching.
Okay.
And then around the time, think if you remember Jenko pants.
Yeah.
So then Jenko with his real big, just wide pants,
right.
ravers or whoever. So then you had what was cool with their pants, aside from the design, and they were just big. Some of them had graffiti characters or graffiti style work on the actual pants, like the back pocket. They were huge, and they'll have a character or it'll say Jenko.
Yeah.
So then, we couldn't afford Jenko pants. I wouldn't even know where to get them. And if we did, my mom wasn't going to buy them for us.
Right.
So then I had this pair of, it was bleach jeans. And we bought some tulip paints from the craft store. And I did my name, Alonzo, on the side of the leg of the pants.
Nice.
And I remember we had a bunk bed. And, I want to say I did yellow letters with a blue outline.
Uh-huh.
And then I laid it on the top of the bunk bed for it to dry. And then either it was you or Keen threw a ball and they fucked up my pants.
Oh, my God.
So I was just practicing letters.
So my dad got you into graffiti. Or not into graffiti.
He got me into drawing bubble letters.
Yeah. And then, so that inspired you drawing.
Well, yeah, I was drawing everything that I enjoyed. I was drawing Bart Simpson. I was drawing Ninja Turtles. I was doing letters. So it just came naturally, I wouldn't think twice. I would just start drawing whatever, came to mind. So then fast forward, a little bit of time when you start exploring, we start walking the railroad tracks.
Yeah.
You start seeing graffiti there.
Yeah.
I'm seeing it on, the Jenko pants. And then because we didn't know anything about hip hop. We didn't know anything about the gangs. We didn't,
Right.
You're slowly
learning that as you go.
Yeah, you start paying attention to your surroundings and you're like, man, what is this? What is that?
Yeah.
So then once I figured out what graffiti was, where, you pick a name and then you go and you paint it on the wall. And then at the time, I think my graffiti influence was Bore and Make.
Oh, okay. Shout out to Bore and Make. Damn.
Because they were a couple years older than me. And they're the ones that started busting tags.
Okay.
They're the ones that, So then at the time, I was like, bro, I can draw that.
Yeah.
So then that's when they're like, oh, we're gonna start a crew, ATD, and I'm just in the background, and so there you would have Scar, so then it's you got different people in the neighborhood.
Oh, Leo. So ATD, how did they come up with that crew? They had it stood for something. ATD stood for something.
ATD, from what I remember originally, was just artists throwing down.
Okay.
So then, they had graffiti magazines. We would go to, say, Tower Records or, little shops. You know, they either sold lowrider bicycle parts, and they would have the magazines. So again, this is before the
Internet.
World Wide Web.
Yeah.
So then you got all your info from magazines. So you got While You Were Sleeping, Graphotism, and all these graffiti mags, and you're just seeing freight trains and then just stuff that's happening all over the world.
So that's kind of functioning as inspiration, like what to paint, or did you already know like trains?
It was all coming together at about the same time.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So then the people that started doing the graffiti where we grew up, it was like the people that weren't game banging.
Okay.
So then it was like you see the people standing on the block, and then I'm over here riding my skateboard, starting to do tags.
So like between all the friends, like the group of friends where you're growing up together, you got the ones that are like, oh, I'm gonna, gang bang, and then you got the ones that are like, oh, I'm gonna do graffiti, or is that what you mean? You start kind of separating.
You kind of want to like you just notice the difference in I guess some people were attracted to the game banging, and then me, just as an artist, it was like I grew up around all the game banging. I saw it just like consume my friends.
Yeah.
And I was like, but I always I wanted to skateboard and paint graffiti.
Hell yeah.
I listen to house music.
So would you still like run into issues with gangs as a graffiti artist?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous because I would get stopped, because they want to check me, and I'm like, nah, man, I'm not a banger, I'm a bomber. A bomber? What's that? Oh, dude, I paint shit, like I'm not game banging. No, you're folks. And then, you just had to like figure it out.
Because of where you live.
Yeah.
So as soon as they know where you live, then it's like you're considered a gang instead of an artist.
Well, they don't know what the fuck graffiti is because they're too fucking dumb game banging.
So, did you ever run into any problems that were serious from gangs as a graffiti artist? Like, hey, you can't fucking do graffiti on my block or shit like that? Or like, if you did, what was the...
I would just try to avoid it. If I saw someone out in a certain area, I would just, work around or try and ditch people.
You were street smart about it.
Yeah, I'm like, because I just know what they're about.
Yeah, okay. So you could run into it, but you avoided most of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I did my best to like, I'm not dealing with these fucking knuckleheads.
Because I heard like, oh, you're painting a piece and, one of the bangers from that hood wants to come up and be like, oh, paint my name or paint the gang name or give us paint or
I ran into a situation like that, but I wasn't doing graffiti. I was actually doing a mural of the Virgin Mary on someone's garage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was like sophomore in high school. And this guy we knew from the flea market, because we all worked at Maxwell Street. Shout out to Maxwell Street.
Hell yeah.
And this guy Pablo, he asked me, hey, can you paint a mural on, Quiero la Virgen on my garage? I was like, yeah, sure. So I went by his house. He lived around 57th off Pulaski, like Hamlin or somewhere. So I'm over there. Yeah, I would go after school. I went to Curie High School on Archer and Pulaski. So I would just walk down the street. I had my paint there. And then he had a little boom box. I put a CD, put some Rage Against the Machine.
Nice.
He just started working on this mural. Next thing you know, some bangers pull up, And I was like, what the fuck? He's like, hey, what's up, dog? Hey. And you could tell they were fucked up. They were smoking, but they were like drunk too.
Okay.
And they're like, my homie just passed away, man. I need you to put R.I.P. whoever the fuck, And I was like, nah, man, I can't do that. He's like, come on, dog. This is his hood. He was from here. I was like, dude, no, this is somebody's house, man. Like, I'm not putting somebody else's name.
Yeah.
And then the guy's like, where's the owner? I'll talk to him. I was like, dude, he's not here. I just didn't want it to fucking keep going, you know? So then they ended up like driving off.
Were they pissed off or they were?
They were fucked up, and they were like, they just, you know, they're like, my homie got killed. And I was like, I don't give a fuck, you know, like, get out of here. I'm trying to paint something.
Yeah.
But it was like, I wasn't trying to talk shit to him because I didn't want it to escalate. I wasn't about to get the owner because then he's gonna be in an awkward spot.
Yeah.
And it's like,
damn,
no, man.
Yeah. So as far as the graffiti crews, like you were saying, ATD, do graffiti crews, do they act like gangs? Are they gangs too? Or are they, what, like, because usually from my experience, when you know, combine a group, it kind of becomes a gang. People kill each other and, you know what I mean?
They do, but it depends on the level that people take it to. Because...
so even in graffiti crews, it could become violent.
Definitely.
Yeah, okay.
People will stab each other, shoot each other, beat each other up, fuck up somebody's car over graffiti.
Over art.
It's not about the art, because they're not beating you up because like your art piece is better than his. It's maybe because you went over them, or you know, they claim that that's like their spot, or maybe they just don't like you, you know.
Okay. So it's more about, there could be drama in any crew, but it doesn't necessarily have to be like, oh, this guy's art is so dope, I'm gonna beat his ass. Or no, you know what? You're when you have like graffiti wars, is that when it happens where people are supposed to be, you know, painting? Or talk to us about that. When there's a graffiti war, like usually what is that?
Say you got two crews going at it, right? Somebody probably went over some fill-in and they're like, no, you know, like this was my spot first. Next thing you know, they want to battle it or whatever you want to call it. So then you'll just have crews going throughout the city just stamping over each other's pieces, flipping each other, you know, insulting each other just like on public surfaces. And eventually, like, you know, like they might end up just saying, hey, we're just going to do like a peace battle and just like settle it. Or it's kind of like whoever wins, then the other crew, they got to stop writing their name or fucking just stop throwing up that crew.
Oh, shit.
It could get to that level.
Wow.
You know, but sometimes I think people find it just easier, instead of going out there, you having to like fix your piece that somebody went and fucked up. They're just, oh, I know where he's at. I'm just going to go over there and beat his ass.
Oh, shit.
Because I remember situations where I'm not going to mention names, but two guys caught up with another guy they were looking for at a train station. They pick him up. They're trying to smash his head on the fucking escalator, you know?
Oh, shit.
And then there's been a few other situations where they actually, like, I mean, they beat people up to put them in the hospital.
Yeah.
For what? For fucking paint on the wall?
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah, I mean, it could get... I wouldn't say as bad as gangs.
No, right. But still bad. Violent wise.
It could get violent.
Yeah.
You know, but I feel
so
like...
it's dangerous too. It's dangerous to do graffiti or be part of a crew.
Yeah, some people don't even join crews, you know? Like, you could be in a graffiti crew, and some people are about the actual, you know, just spraying.
Yeah.
So you're out there and, you know, you just want to be out in the middle of the night, find a nice location, and then paint a nice piece. You know, it's therapeutic in a sense, but it's like, it's like going out. I would compare it to, like, say you want to go surfing while there's a storm, because you're doing something dangerous, But when you're actually in the act, it's like, it's really calm. So then, like, if you do enjoy graffiti, you want to go out there, you want to, like, you have an idea, you see a vision, and then just to be able to go out there and execute it, it's just, super satisfying. Now, if you're like, oh, let me go paint a live train, get it to run, and then like...
What's a live train?
A live train is a train that's actually running on the line.
Like a CTA train, like public transportation train?
Yeah.
Not a freight train?
No, I mean, I'm talking about passenger cars.
Yeah, okay, a live train. So have you ever done a live train?
Yes, I painted a couple of live trains.
And they ran?
Yes.
Oh, wow. So how do you, like, your experience doing a live train compared to a freight train? What's the difference?
I mean, it's just a little bit more of a high risk.
A live train is a higher risk.
Yeah, I mean, because you have to know, like, everything's in motion, right? There's passengers getting on the trains are moving, you're limited with time, just to get to it is a mission. Once you're there, you got to execute the piece, and then you got to be able to get away. And then if you're going to go paint a freight train, you just could find a nice spot in the middle of the day. You could even set up your barbecue grill and you're grilling, eating some hot dogs, and then like you crack open a beer, and then like you go back, and you work on the freight train. Even though freight trains, it's not like they're less risky in a sense because it's still federal crime.
So which one's a harder crime? Do you know?
Years back, painting a CTA or the Chicago trains here.
Yeah.
It was just a misdemeanor because it was just paint on a surface.
Oh, wow.
And I forgot after what year. Now it's actually...
felony?
It's a felony now.
Oh, wow. So a freight train, which was easier, was a harder sentence than a CTA train that was harder.
Yeah, but I really don't know all the details.
Yeah, we got to
Unless you get caught, then you got to interview that guy.
Have you gotten caught? I mean, I know you have, but let's talk about that.
I got caught once.
So, what?
I got caught once, and my dad turned me in a different time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So look, the first time we went out in the middle of the day, we're painting some walls. The train was passing by. The conductor's looking at us, honking the horn. It was me, Boar, and Scar. And we're just doing some tags. As we're walking back to go back home along the railroad tracks, there was a freight train coming, and we figured, hey, let's wait till the end of the freight. We'll hop on the freight to catch a ride home. So we're waiting. Then I saw that there was narcs running on the railroad tracks towards us because it was around a bend. So when we first got on the tracks, you couldn't see them. So we walked a little bit further while the train was moving, and then there was narcs running our way.
How far were they?
30 feet, 20 feet. They were like right there.
Oh, shit.
So then I saw them. I said, 5-0, 5-0. I turn around, I just take off running. I run, get to the tracks where the CTA trains pass, with the third rail and everything. I jump those fences, and then I just duck, and I look back, and they had Boar and Scar.
Oh,
they were having them handcuffed. And the cops were just, looking at the wall that we had just painted. So I had my backpack. I had, like, my practice jersey from basketball. I try to remember how old I was. I think I was, like, 15.
Okay.
Yeah. So then at the time, there was a carnival a few blocks away on Western.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever, I walked down to the carnival. And I changed. I threw on my jersey. I still got spray paint in my bag.
Change your clothes.
And then I'm just hanging out at the carnival. And then...
Smart criminal.
And then the person I remember I saw was Angel.
Oh, yeah? Rest in peace, Angel.
Rest in peace, Angel.
Wow.
So then I saw Angel there. And there was a few people he was with, and they had tickets. We get on some rides. I'm not even thinking anything of it, you know. And then
So no one knows anything. You're not like, hey man, are cops around or nothing. You're just like, oh hey, what's up?
I'm just at the carnival now.
Okay.
So then we see Keen, our brother. So we see Keen, and I get off the ride, and he's like, "Hey, my dad's asked me to come look for you." I was like, "For what?" He's like, "There's cops. They're looking for you. They came to the house." I was like, "Nah, hell no." He's like, "Yeah, they came. They had, you know,
Bore
and Scar in the car, and then the cops came. They knocked on the door. They asked my dad, 'Hey, where's Alonzo? We know he's in here.'" And my dad's like, "He's not here." So they thought my dad was hiding me. And my dad's like, "I'm fucking telling you, he's not here. When he gets home, I'll fucking drive his ass to the police station." Like, you know, if he did wrong, you know, my dad was just being a good dad. Because he knew I was out fucking around, and, you know, like, he just trying to be a good parent.
he turned you in when you got home.
Well, yeah, I walked home, and then Boar's dad, our dad, was standing out in front of the house smoking cigarettes. Yeah, I had never seen Boar's dad smoke a cigarette. Our dad smokes all the time. They're out there, and they're pissed. They're talking shit. You know, they're like, you know, we come to this country for a better life, and these kids want to fucking do their bullshit, you know. And
damn.
So then my dad goes, he said, "Go inside, get something to eat, because they're not going to feed you in jail." I was like, "I'm not hungry." Fucking idiot.
Because you're the shit.
Because I'm a fucking dummy. So then what broke me was as soon as I walked into the house, like I saw my mom, and my mom was like ready to start crying. And she's like, "What are you doing?" You know, she probably thought I was like doing gang shit, you know?
Yeah.
Because I tried explaining graffiti, but they're just like not having it. You know, They're just like, you know, you want to make art, do it on a piece of paper, not on a fucking wall.
Yeah.
So then, so I go inside, and my mom's all sad, and then my dad because my dad didn't even want to talk to me, he brought Keen with us. So he was the interpreter, you know, because we've all been interpreters since we were kids.
I see.
So whatever, we drive down to 35th and Low, and
the police station.
Yeah, it's not there anymore. Well, the building's still there, but it's empty. It's they got a new police station. So whatever, they take us there. They take me there. The cops come out, and they're like, "Oh, you thought you got away, huh?" I was like, "I did, but just my dad's a good guy, you know. He fucking brought me in." So then they sit me in the back, and Boar and Scar were there. They were handcuffed. You know, I think they were both 18 already.
Okay.
So they had to spend the night in jail.
Okay.
And then they did their paperwork, and then they brought me back out front, and they're like, "Oh, all right, Mr. Torres, you can take him back now." Yeah, I was like, "Fuck, man, I don't want to go home." He's fucking pissed, you know, my dad. So they're like, my dad actually got upset. He's like, "What do you mean take him home? Aren't you going to put him in jail?"
He wanted you to be in jail.
Yeah, he wanted me to learn my lesson.
Yeah.
So then they're like, "No, he's too young, you know, we can't lock him up." And my dad's like, "Well, then why did I bring him here? You know?"
Yeah.
"I thought you were going to lock him up. Don't feed him, you know, just like he's got to learn his lesson." But no, I was like, "Take him home."
Oh, shit. Now you got a case. You got court.
Yeah, so, I mean, I just had to do community service.
Okay.
But then my dumbass...
Slap on the wrist.
I had to go down to the back of the Yards Community Center. It was on 47th and Wood, upstairs from the bank.
Okay.
So I went there. They're like, "Oh, you know, it was some Mexican guys. They're like, 'Oh, ¿sabes qué, Alonzo? Vamos a ir a recoger basura.'" So, like, I had a garbage can, and, like, they give you gloves and, you know, a little thing. And I was just walking up and down 47th Street, picking up garbage, busting tags.
Oh, my God. True graffiti artist. Damn. No, so... I know you were doing graffiti, and you've been doing art since I can remember, really. I wanted to bring up this story after years of graffiti and being like, you were successful in high school. You were the shit, dude. As an artist, you still are. You got to do some artwork at the Jordan store.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to bring this up because what you decided to do became controversial. And the reason you did it is because of where we grew up, where it's, violence and not the nicest place. So can you tell us about can you tell us that story?
So I've done work with a few creative agencies, and one of them calls me up and they ask, "Hey, Alonzo, we have an event down at Station 23, which is the Jordan store on State Street. It's not there anymore, but it was there for quite some time. It's the Jordan store." So they were having an event and they wanted me to do a live painting. I said, as soon as they asked me, like, I knew what I wanted to paint. So I'm down at the event. These guys, I walk in, they had an easel with a canvas set up for me. I just brought my paints and my brushes. So we're at the Jordan store. People are still lining up to buy the Jordan 7s that fucking came out 20 years before, but they're going to buy the copies.
Yeah, of course.
The whole sneaker scene and, So I'm there and I start just, putting a little paint on the canvas just to kind of fill up the background. Did a little bit of orange.
So there's people shopping and...
No, it's not in the store. The store has there's 3 floors to it. On the second floor is actually a basketball court. So
Okay.
a full-size basketball court.
Oh,
They
damn.
host events.
Okay.
So think like, you got people walking around with drinks. There's a little bit of snacks.
Yeah, okay.
They had a few other artists working on some pieces.
Uh-huh.
But they had me in the center. And, it's like people from corporate and then employees and then just like some of their guests.
Okay.
I don't even remember like what the party was for.
Uh-huh.
All I know is they wanted me to like do a live painting at the Jordan store. And it had to be like gym shoe related.
Okay.
Oh, and then the other thing I didn't mention was I've never owned a fucking pair of Jordans in my life.
Uh-huh.
And when I got there, because I usually wear, boots. So I'm there in my boots. And, with the sneaker scene, motherfuckers always they want to see what gym shoes you're wearing.
Right.
Yeah, I don't have no gym shoes. So one of the guys that invited me, he's like, "Yo, Zoe, what size you wear?" I was like, "Dude, I don't give you no fucking shoes,
You didn't want
Story of my
Jordans?
life, people trying to give me shoes,
Oh, I got you.
So then he brings me the Jordan Cigar 7s. Like a burgundy shoe, and it's got like a fucking little buckle because that's like the year they won the ring or the championship. So then, just to be a fucking sport, I was like, I'll fucking put them on, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So then, so I throw on the Jordans, and then I get to work. And then I start putting a little paint on the canvas. I do a little Chicago skyline. I start doing like a little basketball court. And there's people walking around.
Okay.
So there's, again, they're enjoying their drinks and mingling.
Yeah.
And then I'm the fucking entertainment.
Yeah,
I'm
I got you.
The fucking, ¿cómo se llama? The Joker there.
Yeah.
So then, so I'm there, I'm doing the live painting. And then the idea that I had was, man, I'm going to do a painting of somebody getting their Jordans fucking stolen or jacked at the Jordan store.
So why would you have that idea?
Again, because back in the 90s when these shoes were first coming out, if you had a pair of Jordans, somebody, depending on where you were in the city, somebody was going to beat you up and take your shoes.
And people were getting robbed for their shoes.
People were getting their shoes.
And still are probably.
Their Jordans fucking jacked, yes.
Did you ever deal with somebody trying to steal your shoes?
I did. Yeah, they weren't even Jordans, you know, but somebody tried taking my shoes one time. And
what happened there?
I just had to put up a fight, you know. It's like,
You fought them?
I defended myself. Yeah, I still have my shoes.
What happened? They came up to you like, hey, let me try your shoes on? Or what was their trick to get your shoes?
No, there was no trick. They're like, what size are those? And then they try to, it was a couple guys. One of them tried to hold me. The other guy said, take his shoes. Yeah, I just had to fight them off.
Oh, yeah, so you were fighting.
Yeah, I fought them, and then maybe they didn't want my shoes that bad.
Okay. Damn, rowdy.
Yeah.
So you experienced this shit.
Yeah, it's real. It's fucking stupid when you're older and you think about it, but it's fucking real. You know, people would steal your shoes.
Yeah.
They try stealing mine and they just didn't get them.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it's not worth it. I mean, I've always put up a fight.
Yeah.
That's, you know, but if you think about it, you should just let them take it because sometimes they'll take your life.
For sure. For sure. So you're at the Jordan store, and this is the painting you decided to paint.
Yeah, I was just like, man, Nike and Jordan, they never made that commercial, you know? Like, you would see the Michael Jordan commercials, and he's slam dunking, and he's fucking dancing with Michael Jackson, you know, and it's like everything's all good. But then you got a kid that wants the Jordans, gets the Jordans, next thing you know, he fucking gets beat up.
Or killed or
for
stabbed.
his shoes.
Yeah.
And it just... Who took his shoes? The guy who didn't have the Jordans, you know, because he wants them too, but he can't afford them, or his parents.
Yeah.
So then, that was like the subject, you know, the message. It was like, hey, don't forget, you know, all these people that, you know, are out here, they get in line, and like, man, people used to get beat up for these shoes.
Yeah.
You know, that was just like my thoughts at that time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that I wanted to just
show. I mean, you're expressing yourself.
Yeah, I wanted to just put that on canvas. So then, you know, you're limited with time how fast you can do this painting. So I was just doing, for the figures, I was just doing stick figures. So then I start drawing my figures. I draw one guy laying on his back and his foot is up. And I look down at the shoes they gave me. Yeah, I painted those shoes on the character. And then there's another guy above him grabbing the shoe with his left hand, and he's got a pistol in his right hand.
Okay.
So then, as I'm working on this painting, yeah, I do my figures, you know, because people can see it's Chicago. There's a basketball court.
Yeah.
I was doing little graffiti designs on the bottom and top.
Nice.
You know, just like, you know, just bedazzling my painting, you know, putting a little action to it.
Yeah, cool.
And then, but then the main story in the piece was like somebody getting their shoes stolen.
Yeah.
So then, as that's coming together, people are watching it, and I can hear people's comments like, "Oh shit, he's getting his Jordans fucking jacked," you know. So then, while I'm doing the piece, one of the guys that invited me to do this live painting, he comes up to me and he's like, "Yo, Zo, let me holler at you." I was like, "What's up?" He's like, "Hey man, you gotta lose the gun." I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Bro, you just straight up like, you drew a gun at the Jordan store." I was like, "Dude, I'm doing a painting, you know, like, this is my work, like, this is my idea. You know, if you want me to change it, just ask me to leave." I said, "But, you know."
Yeah, they didn't tell you what to paint. Yeah. They just gave you a subject.
They asked me. They called me. They did like a phone call, like a conference call. They're like, "Yo, Zoe, can you tell us about your painting?" I was like, "Dude, take me off the call." I didn't want to tell them, because if I told them what I wanted to paint, they wouldn't let me do it. So then, so I'm there, and then he asked me to change. He's like, "Man, change the gun into a hand." I was like, "Dude, I'm not changing it." You know? And for him, like, Jordan's his client, you know?
Uh-huh.
So if Jordan gets pissed, he could, like, lose the business with him, you know? So I get it. But as an artist, being in the position where I can paint that, I was like, man, this was just my... Yeah, I wasn't trying to do it to be a rebel or nothing like that. It was just like,
real.
Hey, man, don't forget the guys that fucking lost their shoes.
Yeah.
He got beat up for Jordan.
Like, does Jordan know that? Does he know that people get beat up for his shoes?
I'm sure he knew.
But, okay, so...
You know, but like...
Right. No, you're just.
It's not that he didn't care.
You're painting reality.
He has no control what happens when somebody's wearing shoes.
Sure.
You know. So then, this guy, he walks off, and then, you know, I keep working on my painting, and then I had a guy go up to me, and he's like, "Damn, man, you just took me back." I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I got my Jordan stolen when I was a kid."
Like one of the guests at
one of the guests that was there.
Oh,
He said when he was a kid, he's like, "Man, you just took me back." He's like, "They stole my shoes." He's like, "I remember I had to get on the bus. I was wearing socks."
Damn.
So here you have somebody that connected with the painting.
Yeah.
They saw it. They actually lived it.
Wow.
And it took him back, and he said, "Dude, I could just, you know what it is to walk in your socks, right?
Yeah.
You're usually at the house.
Yep.
Imagine you're waiting for the bus. You're in your socks. You know when you get on the bus, it's got those grooves, like the texture.
Yep.
So it's not.
I felt that.
I could just
it.
feel it getting on the bus. He is just like hard plastic with dusty and nasty.
Right.
And then you get on the bus, and then you're riding the bus in your socks. Imagine people looking at you.
Right.
You probably got like a nice outfit on because you can afford Jordans.
Sure.
This motherfucker's wearing socks.
Yeah. That's
crazy. They just stole his fucking Jordans.
Walking the sidewalk in socks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at the time, I mean, you got to think like this guy just went back like 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
And, you know, in his memory. And he's like, damn.
So you're already, your painting's hitting people.
Yeah. So then I actually had about 3 people two of them that, you know, knew somebody that like, bro, I knew somebody, or like they saw it.
Yeah.
And then one guy who actually they fucking stole his shoes. A few minutes later, there was a lady that walked up to me, older white lady, and she wanted to know about my painting. So then, so I just explained to her. I said, "Hey, you know, like, you know, growing up, I just remember like people getting beat up and like getting their Jordan stolen, and you know."
Yeah.
I said that was like the thoughts that were going through my head when I was invited to do, you know, this painting, and it's just that's what I'm showcasing here. So then she walks off, and then the guy who invited me that earlier said, "Hey, can you lose the gun?" He said, "Hey Zoe, you're good to go with your painting. Just, you know, just keep doing your thing."
Oh, okay.
And it turns out that lady she works for Jordan, and she oversees all the events in the Midwest.
Oh, wow.
So then when she heard the story about the painting, then she's like, "Oh, it's, you know, just let him do his thing."
Wow.
So nothing ever like came of it, you know, and nobody got in trouble because of my painting, but it almost felt like, you know, it could have happened. And then just a lot of people, you know, like the piece.
So what's up with this painting? You got this painting?
I still have it.
It's for sale or what?
The painting's for sale. Almost everything's for sale.
So if somebody wants to buy it, they could link, and you know, you got a price you'll give them, or?
Yeah. So I have my website, Alonzo75.com, and there's some of the work that's on there. The best thing is like send me an email, and then we can communicate through that.
Cool.
I think there's a link on the website.
Alonzo, the number 75.com. Alonzo75.com.
So I've sold a few prints and copies of it. You know.
Okay, cool.
So we do so. If you see any of my work, and you're interested in a regular print or canvas print, we do those.
Cool. Very cool. Well, yeah, no, thanks for sharing that story, because I know it was like, you know, it's the real shit that happens in the streets that a lot of corporations or business people, they don't realize what their brands are. You know, people are getting robbed, or maybe they do realize it, but they're just like, you know, making money, so whatever. But that's what's up. I want to switch it up a little bit to a pretty bad experience you had when our friend Beto rest in peace, got killed.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you were there, like with him, basically you guys were together.
Yeah.
I was like halfway down the block, and I wanted you to, if you're okay with it, share your point of view of what happened that day.
You think this is a good subject to talk about?
It's a subject that the podcast talks about, but we don't
Yeah.
have to talk about it.
I'm just thinking a little bit of if we should get like the families like okay, you know?
Yeah, no, we could do that.
Is that something that like you think should be, you know, like, hey, Mino, is it cool? Or like,
I've talked to Mino
yeah,
to be on the podcast, so he's gonna be on the podcast.
yeah,
But if you don't feel comfortable, unless we're gonna eventually talk about it with Mino. But I wanted to see if
I mean, it's I guess, yeah, let's talk about it. You know, because it was an experience. It's like my perspective on what happened.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, it's also what I'm bringing to light the real shit that happens in the streets. That's not just like a statistic. It's like you're living with it to the point where you're even concerned, like, should we ask for permission? Because that's a legitimate question. Like, this follows you not just that day or that weekend when the Sun-Times printed so many people shot and killed.
Mm-hmm.
This is forever.
Yeah.
So like this is that experience, one of, at this point, probably, millions of experiences. But yeah, if you're okay with it, you could share what happened that day.
I mean, it's really unfortunate that it happened. It's sad that anybody would have to go through anything like that, and it happened to me. Again, I want to say I was like 14 or 15.
Oh, really? Okay.
Maybe 13. I don't remember right now. Just shitty, just fucking shitty. All we were doing was we're in the middle of the street playing hacky sack. Again, we were in the bangers. We weren't out there on the corner.
Yeah.
It's just like...
You're playing hacky sack.
It's Beto, it's Yobi, it's me. Somebody else was there. I don't remember who. We're in the middle of the street. We're playing hacky sack. And you start hearing the pops. Pop, pop, pop. But they were at a distance. For whatever reason, everybody takes off running. I'm standing there. I'm not sure what's happening. I'm hearing the pops. But it had to be, like, again, it wasn't a big gun. It was like a 22, I believe. So you hear the pops. They were actually shooting at us from the railroad tracks. We were right in front of Ray's house.
From the dead end.
From the dead end, because our block was a dead end. So then we hear the pops. We're like right in front of Ray's house. Between Ray's and Noé's house in the middle of the street. And it just so happens that some dumb motherfucker, had to go fucking shoot at somebody on our block.
Yeah.
He sees us, starts shooting at us. So then I look, Beto gets hit. He's falling down, and he's like doing like a turn, like he's gonna go sideways. And then I see Yobi running off, and then I see him, and it almost looks like he dove into the grass, but it was at the moment where he got shot in the back. So he jumps into the lawn, again, almost like towards in front of Ray's house, give or take. And then Beto falls down right in the street.
And where are you?
I'm right in the middle of the street, right next to Beto.
You're just standing there?
I'm standing there, and I'm like just watching. So then I didn't get hit. Beto gets hit. Yobi gets hit. And then it clicked what happened.
Okay.
So then I started yelling, hey, call 9, because there was people start coming out in front of their house. So I'm like, call 911, And then Beto's down, and then he's on the ground, and he's like, "Oh, Alonzo, help me!" You know, he's fucking asking for help. What the fuck am I gonna do? You know, and it's like, I'm yelling for help.
Yeah.
So I'm there. I'm with them. I mean, the fire department was a block away.
Yeah.
So the ambulance was there pretty quick, and then they took him, you know, and then they took him, and then somebody else had ran to Yobi. They take both of them. You know, there's cops everywhere. What happened? And you know, you're a little kid. Well, not little, but you're a fucking kid.
You're a kid, yeah.
And then you're like trying to figure out, like, holy shit, they just got shot. So then I was actually a few hours past, and I was sitting on the curb in front of Tommy's place.
Okay.
And then that's when somebody came over and told us that Beto had passed.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
So Yobi and Beto both went to the hospital.
They both went to the hospital, and Yobi had a bullet in his spine. And they were best friends.
Yobi and Beto were best friends.
Yobi and Beto was best friends. So then when Beto passed, and I guess maybe like the doctors knew that it was like, you know, the two, I don't remember if they were at the same hospital. But when Yobi kept asking about Beto, and
so Yobi knew Beto was shot.
yeah,
Okay.
but he didn't know that he had passed away.
Oh, okay. They didn't know.
They told him, don't tell him that he passed away. You gotta he's gotta get better because he might, you know. I mean, when I never been shot, but being in that state, you know, it's just like, I mean,
No, the mind is a powerful thing. Like
it's gonna fuck you up.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh shit. So like, why do you think they shot at you guys?
Because they're fucking stupid. I mean, what happens is they just send the shorties out, you know, like the stupid game bangers. Yeah, they're like, hey, you got to go, you know, go shoot at the D's. And whether they realize it or not, like we weren't game bangers.
Yeah.
We were just on the block.
Yeah.
That's what's super unfortunate because it happens all the time.
Yeah.
We were just victimized. You know, like, why the fuck would they shoot at us?
Right,
you know?
right.
They took someone's life.
Right.
It just, you know.
Not gang related. No one's involved. No one in the circle is. It's not like they confused someone for someone else. It's literally just, let's shoot at this bundle of people because they're on this block.
Exactly.
It's fucked up. So, we talked a lot about, you know, violent experiences and, you know, Beto's passing. One of the things I like to do, like at the end of our show, is if the guest shares with us, like, if there's anything that you do that helps you cope and live life and look forward to, you know, because it's hard, you know, dealing with this type of stuff, that maybe a listener that has dealt with stuff can, you know, find help from. Would you like to share anything? Do you do anything, or how do you?
No, what I would like to say is, like I went through a lot, right? Growing up, you lose not just a friend, you lose friends.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I know in your podcast you've talked about, you know, a few other friends that are not with us anymore.
Right. That were your friends and.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's, how do I say this? Really what I've taken in is like, you have to like value and appreciate every day. Because for us, you know, we were going to funerals and it wasn't like, oh, you know, grandpa died or, you know,
right.
We weren't going to like funerals of people that lived their life and it was like now they're at rest.
Yeah, natural causes and stuff like that. Yeah.
Or, you know, we were going to funerals for like our friends. Like our friends just died.
At a
and
super
it's like,
young age.
yeah, like they weren't even 18 yet, you know. They didn't even get to like live a full life. Not even a half life. It's like they didn't even make it to fucking adulthood. They're gone.
Yeah.
You know? So then some people are asking for it. If you're out there and you're fucking game banging and you get killed, dude, you were asking for it.
Right. Comes with the territory.
You know?
It sucks for everyone around you that loves you.
Well, yeah. Again, like you think a parent wants to see their kid on the block. Right. I mean, even me, like doing the graffiti work, like you think you want your kid climbing fucking fences and like climbing on buildings to fucking spray their name on the roof.
Graffiti artists get, they die doing that shit.
They fall on the third rail. They fall off fucking rooftops. Like,
yeah.
You know, nobody wants to see that. As far as like coping with it, I don't think about it. I guess I don't think about it too much. I've lived it. I've seen how bad it is.
Yeah.
But then it's kind of like be there for your friends, right? Yeah. Hey, you need something? Hey, you know?
Yeah.
Because then like, I think you said this one. I think I read it. They say like, say your phone rings and it's like it's your buddy. And you're like, oh no, I'll get him back.
Right.
It's like, dude, you should just answer it because you don't know if it's the last time you're gonna talk to him.
Straight up.
You know, and it's regardless of the age. You know, regardless of where you grow up. You know, because say you don't grow up in the hood.
Yeah.
You probably grew up in fucking Bolingbrook or something.
Yeah. Like
people die there all the time as well.
Yeah.
It's different reasons. You know, maybe they thought they were a speed racer and they wrapped their car around a fucking post. Mm-hmm. And then now they're dead. Or like, they're fucking smoking fucking meth.
Right. No,
like,
there's all kinds of drugs out here.
So like, I mean, death is going to come to everybody. But it's just like, some people are they're playing with it, you know?
Yeah.
Again, I don't think I could really answer how you cope with it.
Well, I mean, you kind of did by just stating how you appreciate and, take care of your people now, knowing how, because you went through things and you did lose a lot of people or friends at a young age. Your way of life is like appreciate today, appreciate that you have this, and that kind of makes you
every single day.
Yeah,
because you don't know when you're gonna die.
Yeah,
and then whether it's again, you could be waiting for the bus, fucking a car hits you.
Yeah, right.
Like, look at when Keem was playing soccer. They were just out there playing soccer, and their little kid got struck by lightning.
Yeah, crazy.
You might just be standing there, and then just to mention someone else, R.I.P. Marcus.
Yeah.
Marcus Morgan.
Damn,
I wasn't on social media, but, he was my buddy through grade school, playing ball and everything. I didn't, since I wasn't like on MySpace or any of that.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I got on that I found out that he had passed away.
How did you find out?
Marvin did a post.
Okay.
So I went online for whatever reason. Marvin had hit me up as a friend, his brother.
Okay.
And then he did a post and he said something about, I miss you or whatever. And then I had Marvin, I think I sent him a message. And then he's like, yo, man, yeah, Marcus got killed. And it was like...
Damn.
When I found out, I think he had died like 5 years prior.
Oh my God.
But again, since I was never on social media, like, I mean, I didn't, everybody, there's so much that gets shared on there.
Yeah,
and if you're not on there,
right.
And if you don't see these people, like, I mean, when you go to school, you're seeing them fucking almost every day.
Yeah, yeah.
And then like when you don't, unless you're working together or, you're making that extra effort. So then, like, I was like, man, that one hit me hard. I was like...
Yeah, that was your buddy, man.
Yeah, so then just to find out that like he's not there anymore, and then I found out that he was standing in front of his house. Yeah, a straight bullet hit him in the head.
Oh shit! Not even meant for him.
Yeah,
Damn.
you know. So again, like you just gotta appreciate every day. Plan for the future.
Yeah.
You know, hey, I'm thinking about stuff I want to do next summer. I'm thinking about, you know, when the snow hits, like, you know, things that I want to work on, art projects. But you never know if fucking you're even going to make the rest of the day.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's why it's, you know, stay positive.
For sure.
Think positive. Help someone out when you can. And then, but just know that, like, one of these days, I mean, somebody you knew is not going to be there anymore.
Straight up. Well, thanks a lot, Alonzo. I enjoy talking with you, and thanks for sharing the
I got to do
stories
that
and-
one last. I didn't answer one question
What's that?
because you asked me about the have I been caught. So I told you about when my dad turned me in.
Yeah?
So real
When
quick,
you're doing graffiti.
I'm just gonna tell you about the time we got caught because it was intense. So I'm with two graffiti writers. It's a guy and a girl, and we're just painting some trailers off the Orange Lane. We finished painting. We're walking back. We stop on the bridge by 47th Street. We look down. There's narcs trying to come up the railroad tracks. So we take off running. The narcs are running up. And as we're running from 47th towards 50th, I can see flashlights. So there's cops coming from like 49th towards 47th.
Okay.
From 47th. So we're in the middle. So they grab one of the other two. They end up grabbing both of them. I ran. I hid behind a tree.
Again, they got two, and you're running, and you're
Yeah,
getting away.
and then I was hiding behind a tree. But all the cops had their guns out.
Damn.
So then I still remember I was wearing a T-shirt with a little Bruce Lee character on it.
Yeah.
And they saw me. They're like, "Come on with your hands up." So I come out like this, and there had to be like 10 lasers on my chest.
Holy shit.
There's fucking cops everywhere. They're like, "Where's the gun? Where's the gun?" And I was like, "Man, I don't have a gun." So what happened? Somebody had shot at someone over, say, by like Sealy somewhere.
Oh, wow.
Somebody else had called in about the graffiti. So then you had cops chasing someone with a gun. You had cops looking for graffiti writers.
Oh, shit.
So next thing you know, there's like mad cops everywhere. And so I got my hands up and they're like, "Where's the gun?" I was like, "I don't have a gun." And again, dude, I just remember, I'll never forget it. Because those are fucking, you know.
That's the fucking barrel of a gun pointing right at your heart.
It happens in the city all the time. And I look at it like I could have just died that night. Or
Straight up.
got killed.
Straight
Whatever.
up.
However you
Yeah.
want to look at it.
Right.
So I'm like this. For being out just to paint graffiti, next thing you know, there's fucking multiple guns with the fingers on the trigger
Yep.
just on your chest. So then I'm like, I don't have a gun. I was like 16. And one of the cops gets behind me, you know, they put me on the ground. And if anybody who's ever walked the railroad tracks, like there's big rocks on the railroad tracks, you know?
Hell
So
yeah.
then like they put me on the ground. I'm on these fucking pointy ass rocks. And, but at least now I don't have the guns pointed at my fucking chest.
Mm-hmm.
So then they got me down. They're asking me if I got anything in my pockets. I was like, I got some cash and I got spray paint caps. That's it. So then they're like, he had the gun in his bag, you know, because I had like a satchel. Yeah, I fucking threw it while I was running. So they end up finding the bag. And then these guys pick up some old ass rusty spray cans and throw them in my bag. Like,
Oh,
he
hell
had
no.
more spray. Look at all the spray paint he had, you know.
Shady.
Yeah, so then that's the time I got caught.
Damn.
So then they took us to the police station, and I thought I was gonna go to the Ollie home because I was at the police station. They called our parents,
Yeah.
and then It was maybe like around 10:30 or 11 when we got caught.
At night.
Yeah, and I was still at the police station. It was like 4 a.m.
Oh,
Like,
shit.
so they're like, "Oh, I guess your parents not gonna pick you up." So then, I
What, you think my dad was pulling a nah, let him stay in jail?
I think so. And then eventually, I asked the cop. I said, "What happens if they don't pick me up?" They're like, "Oh," he's like, "My shift is over at like 5." He's like, "I'm gonna have to just drop you off at juvie." I was like, "What?"
Damn.
So then my parents showed up. Same thing, you know. Who the fuck wants to go pick up their kid from jail at 4 a.m? Yeah.
I would have whooped your ass.
Yeah. So then that was the time I got caught.
Wow. That's wild. That is intense.
And then that time, I remember I had to go. They gave me court that time. The first time I didn't have court. They just gave me community service. So then
I remember. I mean, I have somewhat of a memory with these cases. Like you had to end up paying for shit, right? Like
yeah, that was the time they actually had somebody out and figure the cost of the damages.
Yeah.
My damages was $500.
Oh, okay.
So I used to work at the flea market.
Yeah.
So then when I went to court, they actually they didn't want to go to court. The owners of the it's called Quality Truck Trailer and Repair.
Okay.
That was the name of the company. And they figured the estimate for each trailer. So once they figured who painted which trailer, like my trailer was $500.
Okay.
Somebody's trailer was like $1,300.
Damn.
So they figured that.
Oh, okay.
And they were trying to get the other two riders so they can pay for it. And then mine was $500. So they wanted to do they wanted to meet with a mediator. So at the time you're like, what the fuck is that? It's just, so instead of going to court, you go to a mediation location, which it was somewhere downtown. And I remember at the time, because my mom was pissed about it.
Right.
Of course. And so we needed an interpreter. She wasn't about to let me do it. So she brought Maria.
Oh, shit.
La música?
From across the street.
Yeah, she brought Maria. So then she was our interpreter.
Oh, okay.
But all it was like the company on one side of the table, a mediator, and then us.
Yeah,
So they're like, it's $500. How are you going to pay for it? So then I said, I could pay you $100 a month. So then I would go work at the flea market. Once a month, I would go down to the currency exchange on 51st and Western. He'd get a money order and mail it to him.
Oh, my God.
For 5 months.
Well, there you have it. If you want to do graffiti and, for the kids that are listening, you're going to get, it's gonna cost you if you get caught, so don't get caught.
Yeah, just don't get caught.
But yeah, man, that's a crazy story with all those lasers on your chest. I'm glad you told it. Well, thanks to all the listeners for listening, and thanks Alonzo for being on the show.
Oh, thank you for having me.
And till next time.